I just want to do a video on one way you can help your arms, protect your arms from breaking if you are finding that every time you crash, even sort of a soft crash, these arms break off. And I think they're pretty fragile, but they do protect the rest of the thin carbon fiber laminate board. But one way you can protect these arms, and as you can see, I've already broken 3 of them, and the last one I broke was on a pretty soft crash. It just happened to land the wrong way. But you can use zip ties around around these joints, and what you'll see is that when you break the arm, I was finding that the break was occurring just past this kind of bridge here. So you'd find that you had had a crash, your arm was broken. I never found that any of the breaks occurred up here or down near the motor. It always occurred between the 2 bridges, and usually this upper bridge, right past the bridge, there would be the fracture line. So I noticed on one of the other videos, I'm not sure who posted, but they were talking about using zip ties to protect carbon fiber arms, and what these act as is a kind of fuse, and they've got an engineering term, but what happens is that as the stress runs through the arm, during a crash and bends it, these zip ties will break first or offer resistance against that force. Now these zip ties are pretty tough, as you probably know if you're familiar with zip ties. But what's happened since I've put zip ties on the arms just above the 2 bridges is I actually haven't broken any of the arms. I've had some pretty hard crashes, broken a lot of props. In the last month I've gone through 50 props, and but I haven't broken any of the arms. I've got 4 replacement arms still sitting there because I bought another bundle after I broke these 3. So if you want to try to protect your arms, grab some zip ties, stick them just above the bridges, and you should notice a difference with regards to their strength. Now I haven't cracked the body because the arms are stronger. That may be a worry to some, but I haven't had that problem yet. I still think that the arms would be weak enough to break before the carbon fiber laminate did. Another thing you may want to have a look at is if I bring this up and get focus on it. Is that I've got a zip tie and I've run it through and kind of diagonally crossed it and kind of clipped it at the bottom. But what this does is protects the flight controller and the transmitter from the battery sliding forward. Last week I actually had a crash and it broke the zip tie. I didn't think the zip tie would ever break because these zip ties are really tough, but the zip tie broke, which meant that the force of the battery going through would have been sufficient enough to cause that to break. Another thing it may do is offer overall strength to the frame, but the primary factor or reason I inserted this was to protect the flight controller. A lot of people are putting bits of foam or things like that in there to protect the flight controller, but I think this is probably the simplest matter. Another thing I do is use the 3S batteries inside. I've got some cheap Velcro which I use to connect the battery, or to sit the battery on. The 4S batteries go on top, and I use a strap to strap around the 4S batteries, but the 3S go inside and the 4S go on top. A lot of people are moving the video transmitter to the back to improve the center of gravity. I usually run with a Firefly kind of GoPro action camera in the front, and with the batteries on the back or sitting up here, the center of gravity seems to remain pretty constant within the center. So there you go, that's just a couple of things that I've done. One more tip is that I was finding I had to keep resoldering the ESCs. when I crashed or landed in kind of rough grass, and I found that if you simply just put some electrical tape around that, it protects the solder points on the ESCs and protects the wires from getting caught in the grass. And since I've done that, I haven't had to resolder any wires that have come loose from the ESCs. So that may be something else you may want to have a look at.